Hello, my noble band of outlaws. Outlaw Samurai coming at you live with a video, and guess what? I was motherfucking right! Alright? Sword for this video is the 1865 Heavy Cavalry Saber by Cold Steel. But I was motherfucking right! Alright? I just finished watching the latest episode of Primal, and Spear and Fang, at the very last tail end of the damn episode, finally meet again. Again, spoilers for all involved. Mira is even there, and we find out that it's not even, I would say, 6 to 9 months since Spear died that he was brought back to life, which explains why he had such well-preserved flesh, because his body physically did not have the time to fully decompose. Plus, from what they speak of, we find out that Spear was brought back using that voodoo magic. Alright? Which makes a lot of sense, because, you know, voodoo does have, like, a lot of necromantic properties. But that was fucking insane. Currently they're going after these giant pig-like boar creatures that attack the village. Fang is like extremely territorial and pissed off, you know, like no one but Spear would be able to ride on the backs of her and her kids. Which she calms down when she finds out that Mira is carrying Spear's child. But in any case, this proves that either Spear will be revived completely or he'll be destroyed again before the child is fully developed and grown. But this just goes to prove, I called it. I said by episode 3 or 4 that Spear and Fang would reunite. Your boy Outlaw with that perfect predictions. So, not a lot happened in this episode. Really, the only things we saw was like the Spear's funeral. Then we saw Mira get pregnant. Saw village life with the T-Rexes. Them chasing chickens and trying to eat them. Mira looking at them with a sigh of an exasperated mother or grandmother. Then the giant pig creatures attack. They go through the forest. They find the priest that revived Spear. You know, with the spear still plunged in his heart. They find the dead monkey men. And that's when we hear the whole, like, voodoo bullshit. Like the voodoo magic ritual. And they cover the heart inside the staff with, like, a ring of chalk and herbs. I'm assuming some sort of purification ritual that they use in instances like this. But the fact that I was right is what I really love. Now, what does this mean going forward? It means that Tartakovsky has a lot of breathing room when it comes to future voodoo rituals, because voodoo, despite what people will say and people think because of like movies like The Princess Frog, who portray voodoo as like, ooh, evil with the shadow man. You shake a poor sinner's hand. Yes, Outlaw is cultured. He's watched The Princess Frog before. Okay, Jazz playing crocodile, or alligator. Best boy in show. But in any case, that's not important. What is important is that voodoo, and no matter what people tell you, alright, I can't remember the good witch in the swamp, but Mama Hody, I believe her name is. But Mama Hody also uses voodoo. Alright, voodoo has a good and a bad side. There's good voodoo and then there's bad voodoo. Alright? The whole like zombification, making zombies out of people, that's the bad voodoo. That's the one everybody knows about with the whole like voodoo dolls and zombification, which gives Tartakovsky an entire macabre arcane library to choose from. Because voodoo can easily tie into necromancy and necromantic practices. But it can also lead into paganistic magics with like good spirits, good gods. We've already seen that there's a devil, like a demon king in Primal. And I still believe that Spear will come into contact with a good god or deity. Or perhaps Spear could naturally be slowly reviving on his own. We see him huffing and puffing and breathing, and regular resident undeads do not require breathing to function. They may physically do it, but they do not require it, because again, their body's not alive. But this interaction is going to be extremely interesting because it practically mirrors the first meeting between Spear and Fang all the way back in episode 1, where Spear's coming out of a set of bushes to find Fang and her, at the time, first clutch of hatchlings. But I'm not extremely well versed in voodoo practices, so I can't say for certain how Tartakovsky can go from here. But I do know that it can lead into very interesting directions depending on how he wants to take it. But the main thing that I want to say is that if there is a theory, which not so much a theory, more like a proven prediction, a hypothesis that I can almost guarantee is going to come true, Spear is going to assist in the rescuing of the captured village people, because the giant pig monsters are capturing the village people to feed to their mother, because I believe they're piglets. Fuckers are the size of Clydesdales, and they're piglets. The mother is a fucking blue whale-sized threat. Which, in terms of shit in Primal, could be considered a small to medium-sized threat. But in any case, I do believe that Spear is either going to physically help save the kids, or he is going to basically be kept on the sidelines until something happens to Mira or Spear. Not Mira, or Fang, I should say. But it's almost I would say a 99% chance that Spear is going to be involved in the main fight in some way, fashion, shape, or form. It's Spear. Alright? And I know what you're thinking, Outlaw. We still need the Night Feeder videos, the Night Feeder video, and the Mole Men video. And I know. I am working on those. But theory videos require far less editing and far less strategic thought than combat videos. But let me know what you think down in the comments below, my noble band of outlaws. If Spear is going to be fully revived like I believe he's going to be, or he's going to be destroyed. Because it seems to me that Spear is slowly regaining his humanity. If, albeit a little slower than I would personally prefer, because honestly, I would have, if I was going to revive Spear, I would have just straight out revived him completely. Alright? Yeah, he has his advantages of his revenant undead form, but he was a lot more dangerous when he was alive because he was a lot more thinking and tactical. If Spear was alive, I doubt he would have ever actually been captured by the mole man. He would have been smart enough to break the mole man's neck instead of bashing him around, making more noise. Plus, if Spear was alive, he would have been in the village when the boars attacked, and they probably wouldn't have gotten away with any of the kids. So, there's that. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below, my noble band of outlaws. And until next time, Outlaw Samurai, until all y'all be crazy rednecks, be safe and use your weapons. I'm out. Peace.